Hi guys, so welcome back to another pick a card. So what we're going to do in this reading, I'm just going to do it a little bit off the cuff, and the question is going to be, because obviously this is the eclipse right now because I'm recording this on the 15th, and because it's in the Scorpio energy going off, it's just, I think Scorpio energy always has choice points of intensity. And it's all about perception, psychology, deep psychological things, psychic stuff, whatever. So this reading is relevant for any time whatsoever, but it's kind of being inspired by that kind of energy at the moment. So the question is, a choice point moment, what to consider from a psychic perspective. So if you feel like you're at a choice point, in whatever way that might be to you, then this is something for you to consider from the psychic perspective. Because I'm doing this off the fly, I don't actually have my shamanic meze, so I'm basically going to use these earrings for each of the ones. So you just feel into which one has your question, your answer. Is it question number 1, this one? What can I say? I love my bling. This is number 1. This is number 2. Quite a cool earring, I like this one. And this is message number 3. This one. Okay, so you just feel into that, and then we're going to go straight away to question number 1. Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 1 for you're at a choice point moment and what to consider from a psychic perspective. I'm just going to leave this totally open as to how this kind of goes off. So let's see. I'm going straight away into the tarot. Okay, I don't know whether to channel or not, so I'll just go with the flow on this one. So choice point moment, not to know. Okay, so this choice point for you guys is, the first thing I'm seeing is kind of walking through a door, but it's more than a door, it's kind of like a gateway. So essentially this word that I'm really hearing is transformation. So the choice point that you're at is basically something to do with a transformation, but I'm also hearing, we transform all the time and on a daily basis, moment to moment, but this is more like, it's a super deep one, as in it's going to take you to a very different place within you and within your own psychology. And because of that, there's going to be quite a bit of hesitation and fear around what is the action for you to take or how to go about this. But let's just turn these over straight away. Oh wow, so we start off the reading with the Moon card. Okay, so again, when I said about the fear, obviously that makes a lot of sense with the Moon card. It's because it's kind of fear of the unknown. Oh wow, then we have the Devil card. Okay, so actually what I'm hearing about this is this choice point is very much about something that's either going to lead you further down a pathway that is not fulfilling your needs, or you can make a choice point that's going to take you down a place that's going to free you from that attachment, but basically also allow you to receive things very much from kind of a pan energy. So kind of like a lot of desires being fulfilled, essentially. And then we have 9 of coins. Interesting. So this is just instantly saying as well that there's something very much around you need to be personally responsible for whatever this choice point is that you're taking. So if you think you need to wait to gain more insight, then that's not the correct way. This is very much about you kind of leaning into your own intuition about the way to move forward, and you have everything that you need to make the choice to decide what to do or what action to have. And also with the Devil card, I think the one thing that you just need to be mindful is, and with the Moon card, don't fall into any pitfalls. And it's kind of really interesting because if you look at these pictures, both of them, can you see the hands? The hands are both very kind of similar in terms of the direction, the way that they're holding them. And I'm really feeling like, don't feel like you're clutching at straws to do with this. You want to feel like you're at a choice point where it's about you consciously deciding what to do, what not to do. And it's not about leaving anything up to fate. Nothing is about fate to do with this choice point. Nothing whatsoever. And if you think that, like I say, if you decide to just leave it up to life or let things flow, I'm hearing the words just don't, because that is to truly miss the energy of this choice point that you're in. And then supporting the Moon, we have the King of Cups. Again, so this reminds me of a very fatherly energy. So it's about taking emotional responsibility for this choice yourself. And then we have the Hangman. So the Hangman next to the Devil. So again, it's like seeing things from a new perspective. And then we have, oh wow, we have the 8 of Wands. Really weirdly, I felt like the 8 of Wands energy was going to come up here, and I can't actually tell you why. Let me just feel into that. It's like you know how that thing I said, like, you've got all the information that you need, you don't need to wait for anything more. If you wait for life to make the decision for you, I'm going to say, be honest, this is going to be catastrophic. This is going to take you into a place of personal entrapment, and it's going to bring up a lot of fears and anxieties, and it's basically going to not be healthy for your own emotional intelligence and your own emotional stability and well-being. I'm hearing that it's just so important that you need to be proactive yourself with this action. So if this involves contacting somebody, or you taking the initiative to take an action, it very much feels action orientated as well. This is not about you sitting and waiting and holding on for something to happen. You know, sometimes that's something that needs to happen, but not at this choice point that you're in. At this choice point, it really is very much, we're definitely with this card, and I really felt this energy earlier, it's very much about you just need to go. You need to, you just basically as well need to let go of any fears that you've got. Any fears, and kind of like, I do think the moon with the devil is such a powerful, intense energy. It's kind of very scorpionic, I would actually say, in terms of the intense, kind of more destructive side of Scorpio energy, because it's very much like so much energy is being focused in a particular way that you might either be going round and round in your head about something, or you're kind of like, you're going around and round taking the same action that's leading you nowhere. And I do also think with the moon card coming out first, be very careful that you do have the correct perception of what is actually going off in reality. So you know how there's many different forms of reality, and we've all got a different take on reality, but there is also a consensus reality, a one that essentially is almost like what my friend calls reality of the highest calculation. So basically, if it's happening, it means it is reality's highest calculation, and that's why it's actually happening. So, you know, if you think something might change, or something might go in a slightly different direction to do with whatever this choice point is involved with, and it doesn't involve you influencing it, then this will be an incorrect assumption, is what I'm hearing. It's very much about you weaving your own energy and your own personal responsibility in this choice point, and to leave it and to let life make the decision for you, or let somebody else make the decision for you, is going to, I'm just going to hear, it's going to keep you stuck. It's going to keep you trapped in some way. And I'm also hearing that as well, the moon card with the King of Cups, this is also very much kind of about emotional responsibility, and taking responsibility for your own inner anxieties or neurosis that you have. But I'm hearing as well, this is really clear, like, it's not about you disassociating from those anxieties. It's not about you also trying to put a positive spin on those anxieties. It's about you facing up to them and looking at them in almost like the cold light of day. And that's when you're going to see reality at its highest calculation. And that's when you're going to get almost like the, that's when you're going to gain this kind of like emotional intelligence to be able to then make the best decision at this choice point for you. But you can only make this best decision at this choice point for you if you look at reality as its highest calculation. So that will just mean that what you see right now in physical reality is the reality that's present. And if you are wanting to create a different reality to what is now currently present, it is about you taking a very specific different type of action to do with what you would normally do. So you need to do something in a different way to what you would usually do. Like the Hangman card often is about a change in perspective, but I'm really feeling this and being told that this is more kind of like it's about reaching out and engaging with life in a different way to what you would usually do. But engaging with life in this way will bring up some insecurities and anxiety points that you have. But this, I'm hearing, is a good thing. This is a good thing, because for you to not face up to these anxieties and almost walk through the uncertainty that comes with taking a different action to do with whatever this is, you will remain stuck and you will remain trapped in some way. And with the devil energy here as well, I'm hearing that it's just basically about a suppression of a lot of your own energy and power, and that's not going to work well for you. And that is actually going to cause things to block up over time, because again, with this 9 of coins, which I really felt instantly was about personal responsibility, and then with the 8 of wands, it's very much about you taking direct, because it's coins, physical action to do with whatever this is. And I absolutely hear this like just so clearly. Now let's just pull some more to see what's going on. We'll get some oracle. So, by the way, I am so friggin' warm right now. It's just suddenly like got super humid. Yeah, so if you're feeling a lot of internal pressure to do with this, or if it's something that just, you know, some people that don't allow things to come out, it can often come out in their dreams, or it can come out randomly in almost like emotional outbursts, or you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night and you can't stop thinking. These are all kind of ways that I'm being told is a way that you might know that you're kind of suppressing something. Because again, the Moon card and the Devil card, it can be definitely something about some suppression, some repression. And this is something that you can free yourself from at this choice point. But again, you have to go off what we've just said needs to be done. We've taken different action, but also looking at reality as its highest calculation. By the way, some of these, for some reason, they're already upright. I don't really know why, but we'll just go with it. Okay, let's see. So, what do you need to know about your choice point? So let's go with this one first. We have, oh, the World. Okay. Then we have, oh wow, Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. Wow, there's some really intense players coming out here with Lilith, the Moon and the Devil. Virgo, but you can definitely, you can analyse your way through this actually. And I don't mean overthink, I mean you need to critically think. So like I say, look at things, understand where reality is actually at, and then really be mindful of that and how to go about creating something new. And then we have Pisces. And then this one is occult knowledge, which came up the right way up. So I think it's very important that you... I'm seeing occult knowledge actually is, it's not about anything particularly psychic or anything like that, but it's about things that are hidden. I feel, again, with the Pisces energy, the Moon energy, you know, all of this kind of energy, like, there's something quite hidden. There's something that's not clear. Again, with the Moon card, there's something that's not quite clear about what's currently going off for you guys and what action to take. But I'm hearing that it's not... well, actually, what I'm hearing is it's not that it's not clear, although you will feel like it's not obvious and it's not easy to decide which way to move forward. But the reason is why that it's not clear is just because this is a pathway that you've not really taken before, and it requires you to take a very different action. But it's more than taking a different action. It's almost like you've got to have a different perception about what it is you're taking that action about. So, for example... let's say, okay, an easy one. Let's say that you, and this is just a metaphor, an example. Let's say that you've never been in a relationship before, or no, let's say you've never been married before, right? But you really want to get married, and this opportunity potentially presents itself with somebody, but you feel this is completely out of your depth, it's completely unknown, although that you really want it and it's a deep desire, kind of like the Devil card in some way. It's kind of like you feel like you've got no idea how to do this, you're a duck out of water, it makes you feel super insecure, it makes you feel super uncertain, and then this uncertainty actually makes you start to actually think almost like negatively about emotions, because it's starting to play off in a different direction to the direction that would be healthy for you. Whereas the healthy choice point would be, I want to be married, I'm really unsure, this is a completely unknown thing for me. Okay, no worries, I can handle this. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to be assertive in a completely new way, whether that is, don't think about negative consequences, just think about positive ones, actively engage in something different. I don't know, it's going to be different for everybody, but that's the kind of energy that you kind of need to think about going with. Again, it's just, you know, it's going to feel, but also this is quite cool actually. What I'm hearing is, although it's going to feel really unusual for you, and it's going to feel very, or no, it's more like your perception of what you need to do, which is going to be drastically different to what you usually do, will, when you're thinking about it as almost like a thought game or something, or a thought thought experiment, it's going to freak you out basically. So your own mind is going to start freaking you out if you think about it, just purely because you've never engaged with it in this way before. But what I'm hearing is once you actually start to take the action in this very different way in this area of life, it's actually going to start to feel very natural to you, and it's almost like you're going to have a natural innate intelligence to do with this area of your life. So let's go back to the marriage option. Let's say you've never been married before, never really done relationships, want to get married or something like that. When you start taking active actions to do with that, or let's just say you go for it in some way so that you're actually on that pathway to getting married, or you say yes to somebody or ask somebody to marry them, or you even just go on a date or whatever it might be, you suddenly start to realize this feels a lot more natural to you than what you thought it would feel like. And you actually start to realize that the anxiety that you had was not really anxiety. It was just that, this is really interesting. It wasn't really anxiety. It's just that the energy around this area of your life was so undefined that it felt completely limitless. So there were no boundaries anywhere, and those boundaries of not having any actual like concrete identity in that area of your life was a thing that was making you feel anxiety. But once you start to engage in that area and you start to define that area of your life, you start to realize it's something very natural and very easy for you, and it's something that you can do very, very intuitively. And I'm picking that up for so many reasons and so many cards, but these ones in particular. So the Moon card, the Pisces card, and the Occult card. It's kind of like hidden intelligence that you have within yourself to do with this area of life. Now, I just want to be really clear. I've used the example of marriage and relationship, but that is not going to be relevant to some of you or lots of you. It was just purely a metaphor to try and get you to understand this. But you need to feel into it intuitively to understand what area of this life this is for you. It could be a business. It could be engaging with a lost parent. It could be, I don't know, getting a house. It could be deciding to travel around the world. It could be anything, right? It's different for all of you. But all I know is this energy is something that only has a lot of anxiety with it, purely because you've never defined yourself in that area of life. So it's completely unknown. So it's actually completely limitless. And that limitless feeling is actually quite unnerving for many human beings because it lacks boundaries and it lacks definition and it lacks any type of certainty. So I'm hearing that it's really important that you understand this concept to do with this choice point, because what I'm telling you is something that if you feed it into your own psychology, it's going to be incredibly self-soothing, and it's going to allow other options and other ways to start to open up to you, if this makes sense. And I'm also hearing it's going to be crazy what will start to open up to you, because it's something that you will then realize was available to you years ago, or a year ago, at least a year or 18 months ago. It was available to you, but you never saw it as an option because your mind was so wrapped up in fear and anxiety to do with this area of life that it didn't allow the possibilities to come in. And as soon as you relax that intensity about this area of life, different possibilities start to come in, to the point where it almost seems crazy that you never considered it before. So this is really quite cool. Anyway, then we have here rest, and we have disruption. So again, I'm sort of feeling like rest and disruption feels like quite paradoxical energies. And I think that this is the main point, is it is quite paradoxical to do with this choice point. And it's almost like you're going to have a leap of faith, because I'm seeing a vision of, you know, Indiana Jones, and I think it is, The Last Crusade, where it's got Sean Connery in it as well. There's a bit where Indiana Jones has to walk out on this bridge, which is unseen. And because it's unseen, you would think it's not there. There is no bridge there. But he ends up throwing some sand out into what seems like the abyss. And the sand like just drops on this invisible bridge. So then he starts to recognize that the bridge is there. But still, because it's not super clear, he still has to have a lot of confidence and faith in being able to step out onto this seemingly no bridge with a massive drop. And I feel like that is very much kind of like the metaphor for what you need to be aware of is what you're going through. And I'm hearing that also, like the throwing sand, where Indiana Jones throws sand on this invisible bridge, so then it starts to show that the bridge is available. Once you open up your mind to this concept, life will do that for you metaphorically in some way. So it will give you like a little bit of a sprinkling of confidence in something in your physical reality. So it'd be very physical. So reality is your highest calculation, will show something to you that will give you the confidence so that then you can take that leap of faith in that direction, if that makes sense. So it's similar to, say, somebody dropping the hanky to you in some way to show, for them to show to you that they're interested in you. I feel like life's going to drop a hanky for you in this area of life once you open up a little bit, and that will enable you to have the confidence to move forward, to move through the anxiety, through the entrapment, have a new perspective, and actually have faith in things which are not fully clear or fully seemingly available to you at this time, even though they are available to you. This is really what I'm hearing massively. Again, I do just want to say, I think with the Lilith and the Virgo energy coming out at the same time, I just think, just be careful. Number one, don't let your mind trip you up, but at the same time, do also know that your ability to critically think and critically analyze is going to be really powerful for you, but only up to a certain point, and then you will just have to take the action. It's kind of like you will find a lot of things that encourage you psychologically and logically to take this new action step going forward, but you know what, it's still going to require at some point a leap of faith, and I think it's really important to know that. Or at least that's what I'm being told is really important for you to know at this choice point. But again, like, one of the main things as well to remember with all of this is you must take your own personal responsibility with action with it. And this action is not about waiting for ages and ages. Like, this is a choice point, and basically the green light is on and the green light says go. And that's basically what I'm hearing about that. So now what I'll do is I'll just pull out one card for you guys to just look at intuitively and put it together for your own reading. Okay. Ah, that's cute. The key to success is to open your heart. So obviously pause that video if you need to, so you can look at this picture for longer. But I hope that was useful for you, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care. Bye. Hi there, so this is for everybody that chose this for message number 2. So the choice point that you're at and what you need to be aware of from a psychic perspective to do with this. So let's see what we get. Okay, the first thing that I'm actually hearing is freedom to choose, although it's not necessarily freedom to choose because it's almost like a choiceless choice, but it is the freedom within that choice, because even though it seems like you have no alternative, actually you do. It's just about seeing it from a slightly different perspective, because it's not so much about the choice that you guys make, it's more about the intention and the motivation and the psychology that you have behind making that choice. So basically this is absolutely, I can guarantee to you, if you've chosen this pile and you're not in a situation where you feel like you have a choiceless choice, then this is absolutely not the pile for you, because this is categorically about people that feel that they have no choice in this situation. But like I say, it's what's coming out really strongly is it's not so much about the choice that you're making, because you do know the only choice that you can make in this situation, but it's more about, it's really important to get your intention and motivation and psychology in the right alignment before you actually make the choice, because it's going to make all the difference to the outcome is what I'm hearing. So let's have a look. I'm not going to read anything reversed here. Okay, so we have 3 of Pentacles. And then we also have 4 of Cups with Hook. I love these cards, they're so much fun. And then we have, wow, the Devil again. We had the Devil in exactly that same position in message number 1. And then that is supported by 7 of Coins. Okay. So guys, also don't overthink about this situation, because it's not about what choice to make, because it is a choiceless choice. And that means that you either know the choice that you need to make, or there is really no real alternative other than making this choice. So it's not about anything. Don't spend any more time thinking about to make the choice or not make the choice, because the choice is needing to be made, or you are absolutely going to make this choice. But it is about getting your energy in the right alignment with that. And you need to come from a place with the best intentions, and you need to make sure that you don't feel entrapped to do with feeling like you have no choice in this situation. Because if you feel entrapped when you actually obviously make that choiceless choice, it's just going to make things more complicated for you down this pathway, when actually they can be highly liberating. But it's just about seeing this in a different way and engaging with it in a different way. Oh, nice. And then we have the Knight of Cups. And we also have the King of Wands, Jafar. Okay, so just give me a moment just while I feel into all of this. Right, so I think it's really important, don't put any more energy into feeling that you feel disillusioned to do with this choice. And again, so this can work many different ways, but ultimately it's about feeling emotionally dissatisfied about the fact that you have to make this choice and you feel like you have no other options. Because the option that you have is actually one that is it's exactly what you need right now, and it's part of a process, is what I'm hearing. And you don't need to stall about making this choiceless choice, because to stall is just going to make things go slow. It's just going to make things super slow. Like I'm seeing like that with this. If you can see on this picture, it's kind of like the building sites, it's still in process of creating something with all of this here. And it's just going to be like, if you take ages just to go, okay, fine, I have no options, this is the option I'm going to take, and I'm going to do it full-heartedly, you're going to move much more quicker than basically being like dissatisfied about the fact that you feel like this is the only choice that you can make. Sorry, and I was just hearing something really strongly then, it's just gone. Frig, what's that? Oh no, it will come. Oh, that's it. You got to think about it like this. If you stall about making this choiceless choice, all that's going to be happening is, it's like, you know, if you've ever had building work done and your builders are like basically focusing on you and about 5 other jobs, so your job as in the building that you want done takes absolutely ages to get done, because basically this builder has many other people that are also a priority. So collectively, all of you that want work done by this builder cannot be a priority, and it slows everything down. It's kind of like that energy is something that's going to happen. And it's kind of like, don't fight one of your own inner demons on this choice, is what I'm hearing. It's kind of like, don't waste any energy on making the choice, just make the choice, or recognize and acknowledge you're going to make this choice, and now spend the time getting in, like I say, in a place where you feel completely free and you don't feel entrapped by this choice. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's important for you to understand the bigger perspective of where you're going with this. So I didn't do this on the other part, but let me just have a quick pull about what that's about, just as a side shoot. So I'm just going to put it to the side here. What's the bigger perspective on feeling or being in a situation where it feels you're in a choiceless choice? Oh wow, we have the Magician, and we also have the 10 of Wands. Oh, and it looks like there's a tarot reader. I love that. Okay, so the whole point on a higher perspective, why you're in a situation where it seems like you have a choiceless choice, is number one, I'm hearing that it's driven by something much deeper with your soul. So it's almost like a soul agreement or a soul contract or a soul desire that you've had for a really long time. And so actually, if you saw it from the soul perspective, you know that this is a choice that you do want, and you've set yourself up to be in this situation, so you make this choice no matter what, because it's kind of like a really important point on your timeline. And that's why in this physical reality as a human being, it appears like it is no choice, because it is something that's almost, I don't want to say it's fated or destined, but it is like message 1 was absolutely not fated or destined. They had to take all their own personal responsibility with this. It's more like with you on this pile, you've made this agreement with your soul a very long time ago, and it's come up as something that absolutely has to happen. That's why it appears choiceless. But if you can feel deeper into your own situation and trust and relax and open your mind a bit, you'll start to understand that this is something that's really important for you to go through. Like, you need to be in this situation, because it's really going to help you open up your own psychology and open up things where you've been, it's going to change something where you have a really big kind of limitation on yourself and your life and what you can create or what you can receive or something like that. So it's kind of like this needs to happen for you to be able to have more of your own energy and more of your own power, to be more of a creator in this physical reality. It's kind of like, I know what's coming up is, I can never remember the person, but let me just tell you what I'm being shown. It's like the person that was in one of these, that was in a prison camp, and they came out with this really important thing, that it's something like, it's not what's done to you, but it's how you respond to it that makes all the difference. This is 100% what is going off with you guys in this pile, and it's something to do with you increasing your own emotional intelligence and also understanding almost like your own energy, and particularly your own kundalini energy. So kind of like the raw primordial energy that rips around every single part of you and is all the way around you, and you and it are all the same thing. It's kind of helping you kind of integrate and get deeper connected to that level. Now that's what I'm just saying on a very, very deep psychic level. So also something else that's coming in strongly is, understand this, sometimes something looks, okay, from a human perspective, people go, oh, this person, they're really successful, they've got this, this and this, they're doing amazingly. But a psychic can look at that person and go, whoa, but all of that success, all of that amazing stuff has got this complication, that's difficult, it got created by that funky belief system, that emotion was completely off. And so actually, if you saw them psychically, it's all to pot. And further down the line, that will ultimately end up causing that individual problems, even though currently in this reality for human beings, they think it all looks amazing. Equally, another example is somebody where it looks like everything is falling apart, everything is going terrible, nothing is going right for them. Most humans look at them and go, oh my God, they're in a terrible situation. The psychic comes along and goes, oh, well, actually, that's being created from the right belief system. That old belief system is dying. That emotional intelligence is increasing. Their kundalini energy life force is getting amped up and lit up in all the right alignment for their chakras and the rest of life. That is going to lead somewhere amazing for them. This is what you need to be mindful about, whatever choice point and whatever situation you're in. If it appears like it is something which is not great and not good for you and it's making you unhappy, feel deeper, feel really deeper into yourself and understand, is this not just you going through a huge transformation point, and this needs to happen in order to take you exactly where you want. You know, I think it is, for this pile, like, perception is so important. And I'm hearing it's not just about having perception about yourself in this situation, but become a bit more mindful when you start making assessments of other people and whether they're in a great place, not in a good place, successful, not successful, etc., etc. Because it's all about looking deeper, and it's about understanding that primordial kundalini life force energy that runs through everything and everyone. Because if you can start feeling into that energy, then you're really going to know what's working well, what isn't, what's going to go in a good direction, what's going to drain your energy, what's going to give you life force energy. And it's kind of that emotional intelligence along with this awareness of primordial energy within you and within life and within people around you that's really going to help you take this choiceless choice and be so happy that you're making it and taking it. Whoa, that's intense, but it's great. So now I'm just going to pull a couple more. So let's see, we have the raven. Okay, ravens are always gatekeepers, by the way. In shamanic stuff, they're all about gatekeepers, so opening something up, and it's often about a rite of passage, so like going through one thing into another. And I do think that this is the thing about this choiceless choice. It is like a predestined pathway, but, you know, it feels like majority of you are going to go down that pathway and take it because actually you're being driven by your own kundalini life force energy. So although it might seem a difficult choice that you don't really want to do, and it's frustrating, that feels like you don't have a choice, if you can trust life and if you can flow with life in some way and not have to control life, then actually it's going to take you to this new place, this kind of new gateway that's going to open things up for you. But let's just have a little bit more info about that. Oh wow, lunar eclipse. Yeah, this is a big deal. This is totally a gateway. So again, what I would say is, and it is a little bit like pile one, don't stall. And I say don't stall and we get Aries. Aries is all about taking the action, not holding back, not overthinking, not overanalyzing, going with your instincts. And again, instincts taps in quite well to this energy here that I'm feeling is very much like a kundalini energy. Which is kind of like I say, this energy that's within everything within you and all the way around you. You know, trust it. It's kind of like as well, I'm hearing that thing about feel the force. So, you know, in Luke Skywalker, when Obi-Wan Kenobi is telling Luke to shut his eyes and then be able to almost like fight with your eyes shut kind of thing. It's like feeling the energy, feeling the forces, the subtle forces, the primordial energy that is around you and all of life. Tune in with that, flow with that, and then things that seem difficult start to fade away, because you're going to lose your own ego's identity of what it wants and what it doesn't want, because you're going to be falling in alignment with that subtle flow, that primordial energy. And if you flow with that, even though you might not understand it, even though you might not even be able to see why this is a choiceless choice that you have to take, it's all going to work out great for you. I feel like this is just coming out of my mouth like bam, 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 like really, 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 really fast. It kind of feels like, a heartbeat that's getting faster and faster and faster. And I feel like as well, this is a choice point that's speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, speeding up. Like it is for you to take. Just really take it, is what I'm hearing. But remember to get your intentions and your motivation healthy behind it. And it very much has to come in with almost like an instinctive thing. And it's like a very kind of, it needs to go with like a really mature psychology. So not like a child psychology where it wants what it wants, and if it can't get what it wants, it kicks its toys out the pram. You kind of got to go into this place of like I say, this Obi-Wan Kenobi, like feeling the force and like going in that direction. Now let's just see. Remember, if this doesn't seem very practical or very grounded, it's because this very much is about the psychic perspective. So I would also say that, as always, really, really important, and I know I'm saying this because I get told this all the time by my guides and other people, use the psychic perceptions absolutely, but mirror that up with reality. It's really, really, really important. Make sure that the actions and the psychic information you're getting is off reality as its highest calculation. And reality is the highest calculation, is the reality that you currently see and engage with and everybody else engages with. And it's the consensus reality to some extent. So yeah, I just wanted to get that really clear because I was being told to. All right, oh wow, here we go. And this one says stability and direction. So here's a bit more groundedness coming in. And I do feel like this is important with this, like, and it's why I said it even before we got this whole thing about stability coming up, because in order for you to stabilize yourself in this new direction that results from this choiceless choice at this choice point, there's a lot of choices in there, it's really important that you don't just go on a feeling or intuition or instinct. You've got to also take into consideration whatever anchors you currently have in your life and what those anchors are telling you. And an anchor I'm seeing is anything that gives you physical stability. So it could be a job, it could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be a certain part of your own characteristics or your own personality. It could be a home, it could be a pet. I mean, it really can be anything, and it's multiple. Everybody's got physical anchors somewhere, even if they might not be ones that actually seem very physical. But you do have some anchors, and you need to make sure that you are checking your intuition and your emotional responses to this choice point through whatever thing is your physical anchor. And this is so, so important. Like, I feel this so strongly, because once you start working with Kundalini energy or tapping into that primordial energy in whatever way it might be, you must make sure you've got a grounding rod. I mean, you must have a grounding rod. It's so important. You must not lose touch with reality. It's so, so important. Otherwise, you could go way off piste. So yeah, just getting that there. And I'm just going to get one of these. Let's see. Stop. And one more. Space. Yeah, so stop and space. I just feel like saying off what we were saying before. Like, just do not get too pulled up into your own emotions or your own psychology or your own intuition. Whatever is going on, also run it through your physical anchors. So the things in your physical reality that are constant, that are consistent, make sure anything that you're deciding to take, or whatever action it is to do with this choiceless choice, make sure you run it through something which is already stable in your physical reality. This is really important. I can't explain to you how important it is. And with the space card as well, I just feel like it's a case of just pause. It's more like stop and pause, to be honest. Just stop, pause, center yourself before you take this choiceless choice in any way that's reactive. Like, even if it's like overly enthusiastic, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be irritated by it, frustrated, but you also don't want to be overly enthusiastic or overly passionate about it. You got to find this balance, this neutral way to do with this choice. I don't know why, but I'm just hearing that that is super important, and it's something for you to consider. Now let's just 2 more here. So, waning crescent moon. Okay. And I just want to do, oh, 2 more came out. We have Aquarius in the 4th house. Okay, so just with the waning crescent moon, I just do think, just be mindful that, you know, something is sort of making its, I think it's part of your own perception about something. Your own perception about something does need to slightly die, as it were. So one of your belief systems, you just need to relinquish it, I'm hearing, just a little bit. Again, just to give a little bit more space for something new to kind of come in, which will allow this Kundalini energy to run through you better, because it's slightly getting blocked at the moment because you're not totally open to it in some way. And with the 4th house in Aquarius, I'm also hearing that as much as we said about having a physical anchor and making sure you run this through that, also with Aquarius, which is very innovative, and the 4th house, which is literally the very bottom of your house, it is the nadir, it is almost like the grounding part of you. It's kind of like you need to have a new perspective on this how it is that you see things as stable in your life, or those physical anchors that you have currently. It is about seeing them in a slightly new perspective. And I'm not going to say any more than that because it's different for all of you, and you're going to have to feel into that yourself. But just very quickly, because I only wanted this to be a quick, short reading, I'll just pull 1 card for you guys to interpret yourself. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. I love this. So it says, Genesis, the birth of consciousness, your talent shines. So again, pause the video if you need to, so you can look at this picture for longer. But I hope that was useful for you, and it gives you some idea, and I look forward to reading for you again. Bye! Hi guys, so this is for everybody that chose message number 3, for what you need to know, what perception you need to have to do with this choice point that you're currently at. So... Sorry about that. Oof. So obviously you can't help but just say instantly, you've got to sort out your the way that you're going to communicate. However, whatever choice point this is at, it's something that revolves around you communicating in a specific way, and I feel like it's about you communicating in a way that doesn't feel particularly comfortable to you. So we start off with the Queen of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Swords. So we've got a Queen and we've got a Knight, and then we have a Page of Swords. Wow. Wow, okay. Yeah, I do really think definitely compassionate communication is really, really important, and like communicating clearly but with some softness is really important. So I don't know what this choice is to do with, because it will be different for all of you, but I'm hearing it very strongly revolves around you communicating in a very specific way. It's in a way that maybe is a little bit more complicated for you, probably because of the situation that you're in, and it's quite charged in some way. So for you to be able to communicate in a compassionate, soft way is something which I just feel could be something which is slightly challenging or intimidating in some way, because maybe as well this is about opening up your heart and being really honest or vulnerable about something, and that as well is really difficult and challenging because of the topic that it's to do with. And then we have what is this? 4 of Wands. we have the Star. And we also have, oh wow, the Death card. Okay, so yeah, this is very much about some form of transformation to do with communication, and it's going to be incredibly healing when you do this, and it's going to bring a lot of stability to you and your own psychology. I'm hearing that it's really going to stabilize your own sense of self in some way, because you're able to open up and communicate in a way that you wouldn't usually. And I'm hearing that regardless, let's just say there's a spectrum of everybody on this one, right? So everybody picking this pile, it's to do with communication. Some of you are on this end, let's say, where you're kind of like naturally really confident with your communication and all of that, and other ones of you are on the other scale of this where you're really unconfident with your communication, and then the rest of you are all in a spread somewhere. So you need to feel intuitively where you're at to do with communication, and it's very much communication in a situation which isn't straightforward and maybe comes with a lot of intensity, whether it's intense because of the situation it's about or intense just because of how it makes you feel about communicating this. But what I'm really hearing is it's going to be incredibly healing when you engage with it, and definitely when you engage with it in a very assertive way. So it's kind of like, don't wait for life to bring you an option or a situation where it then is opening for you to have this conversation, whatever it might be. It's more like you've got to actively go out there and create the situation that allows you to have that communication. So kind of like I'm hearing this, grab the bull by the horns. And if you can see, there is a bull there with horns. So it's kind of like, it is what it says on the tin kind of thing. And when you take, it's also really being, again, there's so many cards about being assertive about your communication, because I see swords quite often as air, and obviously air is communication, and this is something we picked up straight away. But also, you know, with the Knight of Swords, this card is very active, and also here the Page of Swords, this person looks very active. It's a lot of energy coming in quickly, and I just really feel strongly that you're going to have a lot of success if you go in this direction, because to start off the reading with the Queen of Pentacles is a great card anyway, because it's very soft and it's very nurturing and it's actually very stable. So even if you feel in this situation very unstable and you have anxiety about what this may be, just know that from the very beginning, with you properly engaging with this and having this communication or this conversation, whatever it is, it's going to work out incredibly well for you. There is nothing here at all that says anything other than a lot of success. But it is really, you have to take the initiative. You have to go out there and create the situation to have that conversation, because life won't do this for you. And that's partly why this is a choice point. But like I say, it's going to create a lot of stability within you, and also it's going to stabilize a specific area of your life. So let's say this conversation needs to happen in a work situation, it will help stabilize that situation. If it has to happen to do with money in the bank, it will stabilize that situation. If it has to happen in a relationship or something like that, it will stabilize the situation. If it has to happen with a family member or a friend, it will stabilize that situation, and it will be very healing. So it's going to stabilize and it's going to heal, and it's basically going to lead to a complete transformation to do with that area of life. Now let me just see the energy of the transformation, and rather than me intuitively feel into it, I actually just want to pull out a couple of cards. So let's just have two cards, we won't read reversed. So we have Autumn, and we also have, oh, the Sun. I love this card of the Sun. Okay, I mean, with Autumn and the Sun, I'm not actually getting that feeling that this transformation, and I did feel like it, but I wanted to be sure first of all, feels like this transformation, although it's going to be a really deep one, it's actually going to be a very, like, it's not going to be one that feels super radical and it kind of takes the wind out of you. It's going to be just something that is almost, it's just going to make you feel really warm inside. It's just going to, like, again, I do really feel like it's a heart opener kind of thing, and it's also a heart softener, and it's going to kind of, it's going to bring out a glow. It's going to help you glow from the inside out type of energy. So just nothing but really positive things if you engage in this. And to be honest, I could go on and on, but then it's for no reason, because that really is what it is that you need to hear. So we'll just pull a couple of, to do this choice point, we'll just pull a couple of Oracle. So we have the Architect. Yeah, this is, I love this card, by the way. But yeah, this is very much because this is about you. I do really feel you absolutely have to go out there and you have to create the opportunity to have this conversation and this communication. Life is totally not going to do it for you, because there's something about you taking that initiative, which is all part of what leads to the positive outcome of this communication. And if life was to do it for you, there's something about you not being in quite the same energy as if you create that situation yourself, and it requires you to create that situation yourself to get this positive outcome. Exactly, new moon. It brings something completely new in that area of your life and very, very stabilizing. Waxing gibberish moon. Again, this is just something for you to, I just know that you just need to go for it. And I feel like it's something that's maybe been building up inside of you for quite a long time, but maybe you've just not quite had the confidence to go ahead and have that communication and that conversation. And again, this reading is just really sort of encouraging you to go in that direction. And then we have Soul Solitude. And we have Full Moon. Oh wow, so you have New Moon and you have Full Moon. So this really is, it's like the beginning and the end of something. So you're going to be ending an old way of how you engage in whatever area of this life you're in. And I do feel like it's an area where you feel a bit unconfident is the main thing that I'm hearing. And it's kind of like you found it difficult to express how you really feel about it. Like, even if you feel confident to communicate, you've not really been able to find the words to do it, or you haven't even known quite how to say it. So if you're one of these more confident communicators on this side, it's not necessarily about your confidence in communicating, but it's understanding how to express it in such a cohesive way that you better understand yourself, and so does whoever it is that you are saying and having this conversation with. And not only that, life also better understands you, because it's almost like even internally, maybe your dialogue has been a bit conflicted to do with whatever area of this life you know this is to do with. And I just really feel like it's going to be, like I say, it's the beginning and the ending. It's an old way that's going to be dying out, and it's a new way that's coming in to do with this area of your life. But it all revolves around you having this conversation and you creating it yourself. So I'm just going to pull two more. So we have Fear. Yeah, please don't have any fear to do with this. Just literally go for it. Just go for it. And then again, we have isolation again. So we had soul isolation and isolation. I'm just going to pull a couple of tarot on that just to make sure we're not missing anything important to do with that. What's this soul solitude isolation about? Two cards. So we have Knight of Pentacles. And we also have Seven of Wands. Okay, so I just think that you've just been a bit slow. I think you do know what this conversation is. I think you've known about it for a really long time, but I feel like you've just been hesitating a little bit. Because I feel like with the Seven of Wands, I feel like it's almost like you've been fighting yourself about whether to have this conversation or not, whether to engage in this conversation or not, that kind of thing. And really, again, this reading is just fully supportive of you going forward with it, particularly because with the Knight of Pentacles, do know you've taken long enough to really think about this, analyze it, feel into it, all of this kind of thing. And really, there is nothing to be gained by you just now waiting. There's nothing to be gained. There's only something to be gained by you taking, you setting up the situation, the scenario, so that you can have this clear communication, because it will go so well. But just remember, Queen of Pentacles came out first. It's all about soft, nurturing, supportive communication. And it's also very much about understanding whoever it is you're having this conversation with or communication with, understand their perspective before you have the conversation, so that because this is one way you can make conversations a lot softer, by already appreciating, acknowledging and respecting the other person's situation or status or scenario to do with whatever this is. Now I'm just going to pull up one last card. This is just for you to intuitively feel into yourself. So let's see what you get. So it says here, Keepers of the children of earth, awaken your power. So if you need to pause this video just to stare at that card longer, you totally can. But anyway, it was great to read for you, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Bye.